Here we go. It's episode 6 of the Markets Podcast. We are live. Let's wrap up what has been an absolute monster of a rally for the markets right across the board. If you're joining us on a Saturday, hi. We're recording this on a Friday. That's Sean. We're good to go for another one of these. I want to start things off right away, jump into this chart, because this is as impressive as I can remember, going back as long as I've been doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green bars. That's a weekly chart on the S&P 500. You got to go back to 2017, I think we're at now, for the last time that happened. It's been a long time, but
it was that we just went up and down, 52-week high or 52-week low to 52-week high, like 44 days or something like that.
Unreal. On the S&P 500. Yeah, and it just keeps going. We'll talk about a whole bunch of stuff as
do we feel sorry for the Bears, or was the writing sort of on the wall here a little bit?
Do we ever feel sorry for the Bears?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people with that play on the short side.
I mean, it depends. Yeah. No, obviously, look.
I mean, I just mean that because this rally has not stopped.
No,
we have one. I mean, over here on the S&P, I have that one red day 2 days ago where we had that little bit of a drop down, and then the very next day we made it all back.
And everyone was crying that the world was over. And
I remember on the show I was like, poor Obi, man, poor Obi. Shout out to Obi. But we were sitting there on the show, of course. Watch us, hit the like, hit the subscribe, but join us every day at Trader TV Live on YouTube. But the thing is like he was saying like, oh my God, this market's like absolutely falling. Like I don't understand what's happening. And I looked over, his Amazon position was out of the money like 12 cents because it was long. And it's because we haven't had that feeling, Brendan.
No.
We haven't been able to sit there and see Meta drop $5 or Apple, without there being a bottom. It seemed like there was no buyers.
And at the end of the day, it was 1.5%.
I know, and now we're all the way back.
And now we're all the way back and then some. So we'll get into the overall market. We'll talk about Apple. We'll talk about China. We'll talk about Adobe. We'll talk about a whole bunch of stuff here. Let's talk about the NASDAQ first, and then we'll bring it back down to Apple and what has happened this week, because Apple may have a few issues, and we'll touch on why here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the Qs as well. The Qs obviously has made up the majority of this rally to the upside, and as we said, it just keeps going. We talked a little bit this week on the live show. Again, if you haven't done so yet, go to YouTube, check it out, tradertv.live. We're on every morning at 8:30. You'll find out why. We talked a little bit this week about the Santa Claus rally. I feel like Santa Claus came in November.
Started yesterday.
Am I wrong?
Well, I was asking this question on, what about Halloween? That was the bottom.
Yeah.
28th, 29th, 30th, right? We had that crazy rally. And I was thinking about this to myself, is like, how could have we predicted that? Because we sort of knew the pace that the Fed was going to take. Yeah. We knew the direction that was going to happen. Then all of a sudden we had a nice move down in October, and then a complete springboard all the way back up. But the thing about this market is, Brendan, it kind of still is a little bit held up by, I feel like, the Googles and the Apples and all that, but there's been a nice run. I mean, I'm looking at ETFs more, and we'll talk a little bit about portfolios later, but there's been a nice rebound in a lot of these ETFs. Man, the housing has been booming. Banks have been absolutely on fire. And I'm looking at it, and I have this little stat up here, if we can show this quickly. This is the number of stocks here outperforming. So the S&P right now is up 23% this year, but yet 71% of the stocks are underperforming that number. So meaning the majority of these stocks are underneath that benchmark 23%. So what does that mean? It does mean we are getting lifted by a few. But is that a weighting problem though, really? Because the thing is like Apple's so heavily weighted into the NASDAQ, into the S&P and the NASDAQ, as well as Microsoft. Maybe it is time for a little bit of a rebalance.
Yeah, Apple underperforming here a little bit the past couple of days as we go into the Christmas break. There's a few reasons as to why. Let's talk about one of them, and that is the watch problem that they've run into. So if you missed it to end the week, they filed this appeal on this ruling from the Court of Appeals and lost that appeal, and are now going to have to discontinue sales of the Watch 9 and the Ultra 2. And oh, by the way, it's the holidays and Christmas, so that's a problem.
Okay, so I was actually speaking about this with my wife because I was talking about this and we said we're going to talk about this on the podcast. How big of a deal is it? So we're both Apple Watch holders, and this only affects U.S. first of all.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. Still a big target market. Apple brought in $17 billion in fiscal 2023 on the Apple Watch. So what percentage of that's going to be U.S.? It's near 70%. So it is going to be a big number. I feel like though, can they get this figured out? You know, Apple now has to pull this back, right? They're going to have patent issues. They're going to have to figure it out. And the company is, what is it? Massimo, right? So this is the issue is, it's another U.S. company.
Yeah.
So then now the U.S. is what's involved, and that's the biggest market. It's not like it's U.S. versus Japan, and we're going to get into some other issues with that, with U.S. Steel and Nippon and things like that, okay? But the watch, I feel like, is something that Apple's going to need to try to protect. The wearables is such a huge area. But if you look at the stock, we've had a few pullbacks. My biggest worry about Apple, though, is the fact that we touched that $200 mark. You know, is that the kiss of death? We hit another key level and now falling back in for 3 or 4 straight days while the NASDAQ really hasn't made that same move. So you're down 2 or 3% this week on Apple. Meanwhile, the NASDAQ is up 1.2%. So I don't know. I feel like Apple's sales have already dropped 4 straight quarters, Brendan.
Right. I showed a chart on the live show this afternoon about the NASDAQ itself, and it was very similar to Apple, obviously. But it had the RSI on it,
right.
And it was simply highlighting the fact that we've worked off a lot of the overbought on the RSI.
On Apple or on the NASDAQ?
On the NASDAQ,
okay.
Just chopping around at the top end of the range.
Right.
So the market itself hasn't had a significant pullback, but this overbought state, I mean, technicals are technicals if you want to believe that.
Like we just said, how far we went in just a few
Exactly. This is the actual issue that they're dealing with. It's the blood oxygen reader in the Apple Watch 9 and the Ultra 2. But I was reading today that it's a software thing. And they can apparently resolve the issue with a software update.
You read that today?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's going to require this Massimo company to sign off on it. And that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
But apparently, according to a couple of articles I was reading, Apple has a software fix in the works.
Okay, good. Because I had thought that I read maybe that there was some hardware issues with the sensors and stuff like that. And if it was a hardware issue, then that's a completely different game, right? Because then they're going to have to go back, manufacture again, redesign. And the Apple Watch has lost someone in their design department as well. So they've actually now lost and got rid of actually their iPhone designer and their watch. So I feel like there might be a little bit of a reset coming to the look at that. But the interesting thing about the blood oxygen, this is why it's so important for them, is population, I mean, we're going to sound like, real doctors over here, keeps getting older, and the more and more, like, I'll feel more comfortable with my parents wearing this kind of technology.
For sure.
Whether or not it be Apple or Google Watch, Samsung, whoever's coming out with it. So I feel like this is, I mean, right?
It's a huge market.
You wear a smartwatch.
Yes,
I wear
absolutely.
like we all, even that guy Kevin O'Leary who told me he'd never wears one now. But no, I feel like it's something for the future, and Apple needs to protect that, man, and by any means necessary. I mean, Brendan, come on, their market cap, the cash they have on hand, can they not just do a licensing deal,
Can't they just buy Massimo and just call it a day?
But do they do that? I mean, I feel like the last thing they bought was like Beats by Dre or something. Like, did they even?
Look what happened with that, though. It's a massive success.
Yeah, the AirPods are. I guess is that what they're doing? AirPods, Beats?
No, but they still have the over.
And they just there's a brand new set of that. Baxter wanted one of those. Do you know how expensive? How expensive are those Apple?
$300.
The Apple ones, 300.
The Beats ones.
Oh, the Beats ones.
Yeah, they're like $299.
Apple has over-the-head ones too.
Those are
they're like
$1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Apple does.
Are we buying that Apple? Are we buying that Apple Vision Pro?
No, February.
What?
On that? I don't think there's going to be enough to even sit on a store shelf as long as they're out there. But
you think they're going to get bought up like crazy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, then so that's the point about what we're talking about with Apple then. So you have the Apple Watch that's started something. We have their new AirPods. Everybody can't live without them. Once you're in the environment, like if someone were to ask me if I wanted to get a new headset, it would be some kind of an Apple product.
Right.
Because I feel like if an Apple came out with a car, I feel like people would do the same thing.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
I don't.
I mean, there's talk about.
I don't know if I would buy. I mean, you want to roll around in an Apple car? I don't think it would be an Apple car. Would it? iCar?
100%.
iCar, my car, your car?
They would not be able to make them fast enough.
An Apple iCar, eh?
This was the article, or one of the articles I was reading at lunchtime, just highlighting the fact that there's a software fix that
good.
that can potentially right this problem and get it back. Obviously,
The margins. I think the thing is the margins must be so high on the watch, Brendan, that like if they just say, well, we'll give you $10 a watch, Massimo.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Because like I'm saying, they're both U.S. companies.
Yeah. That would
they're
be
both
huge.
U.S. companies. They can get it settled, and we don't even have to worry about it. But I thought that there was going to be a judgment. It wasn't it's with the government right now.
Yeah,
they have 60 days.
It was a court of appeal.
Right. So
they announced that today.
Oh, okay. So
that
60 days
they've lost that decision.
Right. Oh, okay.
So now they have to actually come up with a fix. That's it. Okay. This is the actual stock.
The story's changing every minute here.
MASI on a weekly chart here.
Look at that. See, so it's going the opposite way.
This is a weekly chart. Someone knew something here that this was going to happen and has been buying this thing up. I mean, the overall market's moving.
How come we don't know those things?
The last thing on this, Biden has until December 25th to nix this. Until Christmas.
And say what, though?
To veto it.
Oh, to say forget about it?
Out.
Okay.
And it would be gone. The White House press secretary said yesterday, I believe it was, that it's been taken out of Biden's hands and he has assigned it to someone who...
I mean, no, but seriously, like...
What does he know about?
Joe Biden is... No, I'm not trying to throw shade.
No.
He's 80
But it's
something
almost,
years old.
Look, it's almost a positive that he has taken this responsibility and said, someone who knows something about this, please make this decision.
Yeah, it's a definite positive thing that Joe Biden is now worried about Apple and the oxygen testing in the watch, because that is for sure what Joe Biden should be worried about right now.
So, Christmas.
This is ridiculous.
Watch out on Twitter, because I'm sure it'll be the first place that'll announce it. But the White House could nix this whole thing.
When I wake up first thing Christmas morning, I'm going to go right to whitehouse.org and I'm going to figure out what's going on.
If Apple's fine or not.
Yeah.
Guys, hit the like if you're joining this podcast for the first time. Make sure
you can find a podcast first of all on Spotify,
everywhere,
on Apple Podcasts,
everywhere.
If I knew of another one, Amazon would be another one.
Spotify.
Maybe, Audible, is that Amazon?
Leave a comment as well. Let us know what you guys want us to discuss in future episodes. But yeah, and then let's talk about this China angle, because there's going to be a bit of a backlash, it looks like, going into the new year, potentially, with the government specifically, Chinese government, anyone who works for the Chinese government, not going to be able to have an iPhone. This was, Sharif on the live show was talking about this.
He
mentioned,
saying?
I think it was about 1.8, I want to say, if I remember correctly, or 1.9% of the total China sales come from people who work for the government.
Okay.
So it's teeny tiny.
Right.
China, obviously a huge market for them. Is this an issue?
For Apple? Yeah. I mean, the minute you start limiting any kind of a market, I think it's an issue, right? But that's nice to know that it's less than 2% of total sales in China are to government. But the thing, I just worry, I've always worried, Brendan, and I talk about this on the show all the time, and it's why, and we had some moves today in the FXI and in some Chinese names as well. We saw them come down on the ruling about gaming and things like that. We saw Tencent go to the downside today as well. But for me, that's what I'm always worried about. When you have such dependency in one country, is it too much? And I think that's why Apple has been really, really smart over the last couple of days and weeks and months to focus on India, and focus on getting things right in the United States and looking outside of China for production. The thing is this, look, the Chinese government is going to be what they are, but let's not what is it? No, it's not wag the tail of the dog that feeds you. No, it doesn't make any sense. Apple is how many? Bite the hand that feeds you?
Maybe. That's closer.
Something about biting a hand, or
I don't want to be wagging
a tail. Grabbing a tail, gift horse in a mouth. Okay, no. All right, back on track here. Yeah. No, but the Chinese. What I'm getting at is the Chinese government, Apple employs. I don't know the number. Thousands.
Easy.
Tens of thousands of Chinese citizens. Yeah. They are part of a huge number of their gross domestic product, importing, exporting. China and Apple are a match made in heaven until something happens. But I don't think the US government is going to be doing anything dramatically like that. And I don't actually have a problem if the US government came out and said, we only want people to use products that were made or by US companies because we are, a little bit worried potentially about data breaches or whatever, and we want to control the software. I mean, here in Canada and the US, we did it with Huawei.
Yeah.
Right? Remember? And now I don't even know if Huawei's
Tit for tat, right?
Right. So I'm okay with it. But as an Apple shareholder, the best part about being a shareholder these days, Brendan, is the information is forever flowing. And like we keep saying, let's just talk technically. Look at the chart here on Apple one more time. If you're nervous about anything that Brendan or myself or Neil or we ever talk about, I feel like I said Brendan there, but I was Brendan.
Please don't ever be nervous about anything we talk about.
No, but it's this. No, well, you could be. I mean, I think we're bringing up good points here, Brendan. The point is that Brendan. The point is that we're, this high of 197, 198, you just get out now at 194, and then if it goes above this high, then you say, okay, all is clear, I gave up my $6, and I just got back in. Sometimes trading is that easy, but for me, I'm gonna be waiting down here. I still think in January, we get a little bit of correction, and we will talk about that. I'm a buyer of Apple more near 180.
I showed I should grab that. I will grab that in a second here, but I showed a really interesting chart today of comparing Tim Cook to Satya Nadella, and I can't think of his name right now.
Well, you have to Microsoft. That was him. Satya
Google.
Nadella. Oh, Sergey Brin or whatever.
No, CEO.
Oh, another Indian guy.
I can't remember.
Can't remember his name either.
The stock price return
Yep.
on Apple since his tenure started.
Sundar Pichai.
Sundar Pichai. Better than Sundar Pichai and Satya Nadella combined.
Yeah, buddy.
So Tim Cook does Tim Cook things.
Am
Here's
I allowed to do this? Bang.
there you go. Here's a look at how big of a deal this could potentially be. I mean, this is the total market, but 19% of revenue coming from in 2023, coming from
Apple's
China
revenue
sales.
from China. Yeah, I actually wrote that down. Yeah.
So I mean, 21, 22, 23.
It's bad, but it's more about the sales have dropped for 4 straight quarters in Apple, which is the longest in 2 decades. More competition. You're a Pixel. There's other things coming through.
But it's more.
There's Apple TV. I don't know. Has that been any good? Really? I don't know.
Some of the shows are actually not bad.
Yeah. No, I have it.
It's more, but better competition as well. So
everyone's catching up all the time.
Exactly. So that's China and Apple and a wrap.
Everything all right, Ramin, over there? We're in the holiday spirit over here. I like it.
It's been a long Friday.
Happy holidays, everybody out there. If you're listening on a Saturday, about
happy holidays.
Day before.
48 hours. You done your shopping?
Yeah.
There you go.
Shout out to my wife. She did most of it. I actually said that to her today. I was like,
"Are you done shopping?"
She's actually here right now.
Okay.
Okay, good.
All right.
I'm done. See, she just confirmed it.
Marissa confirmed.
I told her, I said, I kind of feel bad because you know some of the gifts that you've gotten, and there's not too many more other than that. So it won't be too much of a surprise.
That's easy. I'm not gonna lie.
Or will it? Oh yeah, you guys. What do you guys do?
Last minute.
Don't you buy each other one gift or something? Did we have this discussion before?
No, we have no limit, but I did everything on Amazon, and
perfect.
I don't even care.
See, this is the thing. I can't buy anything on Amazon.
Why?
Because we share an account.
Oh, so they see.
Not share an account? Oh.
Pro tip.
Pro tip. We share credit card. We share everything.
If you're an Amazon
Pro
driver,
tip. Get married.
If you're an Amazon driver, is this weekend like hell for you?
I think every day is very busy. I feel like we are getting just the same amount of packages.
Even if not more, I think.
Well, no, but I mean like.
No, but
Amazon,
I mean just in general. Like when I go home,
I try to buy stuff off Amazon on Christmas. I'm like the opposite of you.
Really?
I feel like you're trying to get like unique. Well, Amazon has everything, so I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe you're right.
No, I live in a condo, and almost every day this weekend, when I get home, I get out of the elevator, walk down the hallway. Every other door has a package in front of it.
And how many? And so, like, let's just say it was a random day in September. Would it be like every 4th door?
Maybe one or
double?
two. Like one or two. Yeah.
Okay, so it's way more.
Yeah, it's
okay. Well, that's a good barometer
very,
there.
Very busy. So shout out to all your Amazon drivers. Wish them happy
Shout out to everybody, man. Yeah, shout out to all the service. Service is crazy. I was at the mall today. It was
insane, I bet.
Pretty busy.
Yeah.
But see, again, my wife is super smart. She knows a secret place to park.
Okay. I was going to say, how long did it take you to get into the parking lot?
Oh, pretty quick. I don't want to divulge where it is exactly, but
we're talking Sherway here?
Yeah, we're talking Sherway. It's near Sport Check, but I don't want to. I already said too much.
Interesting. All right. Do we want to talk about this Adobe-Figma thing or pass? Long story short,
I want to talk about all that
Adobe
stuff.
canceled their Figma
I love
deal.
Adobe, that's
So
why, because
the government saying, and it's not even, let's be honest, it's not even the US here, it's the EU stepping in saying, this is not going to happen, so Adobe says, pass.
oh, well, they both said pass, apparently, here. It's Figma CEO Dylan Field said, despite thousands of hours, Brendan, spent with regulators around the world, detailing differences between our businesses, our products, and our markets, we no longer see a path towards completion, right? So I just feel like it actually, this deal, the more I read about it, it kind of makes sense, and it's just, I don't know, like free market, I feel like you should be able to buy competition and buy things like that, but they are worried about Adobe just, quite frankly, getting too powerful. And I mean, Figma apparently has a great suite as well, and they're just worried that it harms innovation. If all of a sudden Adobe steals all the engineers and developers and everything from Figma, puts them into the Adobe suite, then all of a sudden now they are controlling sort of the innovation in-house rather than letting a company develop and sort of flourish under their own leadership. So I can sort of see that. It's you know, it's like if all of a sudden Tesla, Elon Musk bought Apple, like obviously that can't happen, but something like that, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we're all of us who have iPhones are now
Tesla phones?
Tesla. Well, yeah, it's just now you're under the influence of Elon Musk, maybe more, could change things without you knowing it. So I'm okay with that, but Adobe stock is still, I mean, it's absolutely on fire. I mean, on the daily chart, it's pulled back a little bit here. I can see the high, had a high of about 630 there after earnings, pulled back down into 578 on this news over the last week. Feel like it's a buy down here at the 50-period moving average. With AI, Brendo, come on.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
Two things on this. One, when does that split? And two, do we see a Figma come to market in 2024?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the rates have to come down just a little bit more. Like we haven't seen too many IPOs, right? Or any direct listings or anything like that. I feel like money just needs to be a little bit cheaper. And when it's cheaper, then people will be able to get said assets acquired easier. So that's when I feel that the IPO market will start to pick up again. So for Figma, I don't know enough about it, but I would say no. And when does Adobe split? I don't know. I own shares. I'm fine.
It'd be great to.
I think a split would help.
It'd be great to have an Adobe available to retail traders and you know people who can act.
Remember though, a lot of those retail like a Robinhood and what's not TD Ameritrade, Schwab, and all that, you can do part shares.
Did you read that story this week on Robinhood? Now that you mentioned that, they're matching 1% on transfers.
What do you mean?
So they're targeting high net worth individuals.
Right, so they're trying to promote that with
1%.
Is that enough?
Apparently, they got like $1.5 billion or something in new deposits.
So if they got $1.5 billion, they got to give out $1 million in.
Exactly.
That's nice.
I just looked it up real quick. They've
That's
Figma,
actually a really good move.
Going back to Figma, $333.6 million over 9 rounds of financing or funding.
Okay, so they're already trying.
For Figma. So yeah, they're.
So Robinhood back in November 22nd was $8, $13 now.
Yeah, that was the day. That last big move. Was
it's outpacing SoFi. Well, actually, they're both. Well, we can get to that, man. Some of those payments. I tweeted something out today. I don't know if you saw this. Hold on a second. I'm just going to go over. I'm going to pull up for everybody here. Follow me at TraderTV, Sean, at TraderTV.live here today. Here we go. Jerome Powell here. I know. Oh, yeah, here. Hold on a second. All right, here we go. Been a good year for fintech companies, Brendo. Affirm plus 400%, Coinbase plus 355, Upstart plus 257, MoneyLion plus 176, Shopify down there. Hey, what's up, Canada? Plus 125. Nubank, so on and so forth. But anyways, a lot of these fintech names straight up to the upside. So just talking a little bit about Robinhood there.
And on that, I mean, a lot of that has even come since November 1st.
Yeah.
It was the year, obviously,
Black Friday.
Yeah, it's been
Cyber Monday.
Just the last couple of months here is just absolutely insane.
I actually have a little bit of. I don't have a beef with any of this because I think it's great for consumers. But it's like beginning of this week, I was getting Boxing Week flyers and deals and everything in my inbox. It's like I don't know. I feel like it's pre-Boxing Week. I don't know. Like Black Friday deals started like beginning of November or something.
I was seeing Boxing Day sales already.
Yeah.
Like it's
like when's Valentine's Day?
Guys, welcome. If you haven't, hit the subscribe and hit the like down below. Make sure you leave a comment as well. Let's talk about this Google thing because we're on tech or big tech.
Sure.
Google restructuring their 30,000
That's right.
wide ad division. I mean, that seems like
a lot of people.
like just such a massive amount of people.
Well, the thing that I wrote down here is that unfortunately, this is me like writing my big thing here. Unfortunately, when tech times are good, Brendan, they're hiring like crazy. Amazon, they hired so many different positions, drivers, logistics. Google, the same thing with developers, programmers, engineers. Like, they're going to cut back 6% of their workforce. They already announced that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like they're one of the biggest. Actually, I'll have to go find it. They're one of the biggest employers, these tech companies. So sometimes there's going to be restructuring, but the note that you're referencing did not mention job loss.
No.
It's just restructuring.
And there was
moving it around.
There was a potential of layoffs, is what I read on that. But we haven't heard anything since then. So,
yeah, but as a shareholder, like I always feel, I don't know. There's part of me is, we're all human and we don't want anyone to lose their jobs. But at the same time, like we're all super excited about ChatGPT. We're all super excited about everything that AI. Like my lovely daughter over there. She had a school project, okay? And she is an amazing author. She started writing and going, and next thing I know, 1 paragraph, 2 paragraphs, and she was done overnight, and then she took it into school, and it was really great, but she didn't have any drawings, no illustrations, and she says, Dad, I don't really like to draw. And I said, that's fine. Guess what? AI. Right? So it's Canva, which my wife has a AI program. So you could just type in, and she wanted 3 girls, high school girls or whatever. They typed it in there, playing soccer, whatever the story was. And it took a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of work, as we all know, right? Nate's not gonna, but it spit it out, and it was really awesome. And she showed it to me, and it was really amazing. And so I feel like some of this technology that's here is making it better. It's leading to higher ROI for us investors. And quite frankly, if they can do things faster, more efficiently, and with potentially better quality, then I'm all down for that. I just don't want to trade against any AI bots.
Yeah.
More than we already are.
That's coming.
More than we already are.
Speaking of Canva, there was a lot of comparison. Just going back to that Figma, I don't know why I thought of this, but there was a lot of comparison between those two when that deal was first announced, and why Adobe went with Figma instead of.
The thing is, that's the other thing too about Canva and Adobe. Like, Canva probably hated that merger as a possibility.
Of course.
So you're going to get the back and forth with that too, right? So good.
Let's talk about some economic stuff here, because we had a huge week of data that is going to be very important going into not only January, but I think the first quarter of next year. This is the chart of the latest GDP reading. So we come down from, I think it was 5.5 or 5.6 on the last preliminary number. And we end up with a number that was sub 5. It was 4.9, I believe, on the last number. But this is going back to September of 2023 on that last uptick. So
you see how they're going together. They're all rising together, dipping together.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you want to see.
But this is important because everyone was saying if the economy speeds up again, that's going to bring inflation back again. And everybody wanted to see a downtick. We had that 5+ print on that last preliminary number, and it comes out under the 5 handle. Still massively strong. I think it was 4.9% or whatever it was. Still massively strong, and their economy, still expanding at a crazy rate. But that simple downtick was enough to move the market higher again.
Yeah, I mean, we keep writing it every single day. I mean, we come in here. When I wake up, I open up the CNBC app or whatever you're using, and you look at the market, and I always see it seems to be slightly ticking up every single day. And the thing is that we've talked about the dot plot. We've talked about, actually, we have one of those stats coming up for you where there's a little offsides on what the market thinks is about to happen with the rates.
Yeah.
And I think it's 75 basis points difference, something like that, with what's going to happen over the next year and a half. But Jerome Powell sort of told us, what they're looking at. The TLT here, I mean, the 20-year Treasury, again, something that's, we've seen it, the writing was on the wall early for this thing to head to the downside. And again, there's that October bottom, $83, all the way up to $100 right now. So yields going one way, market going the other way, then you get a good economic print again. And we know that Jerome Powell has said that the PCE is basically what they're looking at. So do they just stay the course? I think yes, and I think the next move is a cut. But we still have more numbers coming in January. And then I feel that there is a chance, although it's 75% right now, I think a 25% basis point cut coming up in March, I believe. Or is it January?
Yeah, you got to go to March before it's very.
I think that could get a little bit heavier. Like I think right now it's 75% chance they're going to get the cut. Yeah. I think it goes down a little bit from there. I think 60, 65 if these numbers keep coming in hot. Yeah.
Yeah, and the key is these two.
We're worried about employment.
Well, we don't get that for another couple of weeks here, but
because as long as people are still employed, real wages have gone up more than inflation, especially now with inflation coming down. As inflation comes down, are people's wages coming down? Is that maybe a rhetorical question? No.
Definitely not.
People's wages are staying up. They're not. If you got a $10,000 raise or something like that during the pandemic, or as we had here in Canada, a little bump in minimum wage, people have been getting raises.
Yeah.
So those raises are still there while inflation's coming down a little bit. So as long as we still have our jobs, and I know housing's still a problem, credit card debt is huge. There's still many issues, man. I still think energy can come down a little bit, which would be nice, but that's been helping the pocketbook.
It'll be the 5th. We get.
So that's the big
jobs.
That's the big one for me.
This was this morning. This is what you were talking about. Yeah. PCE. Finally, we get a significant down print on PCE. This has been the one, as you were mentioning, that has been the stickiest of sticky, and hanging out around that 3% level. And we still have the core side of things above that. I think it was 3.2%. The headline number 2.6 versus 2.8. So
both coming in lower, right?
Yeah, much.
Yeah.
2.6%. There's a 2 handle on the headline PCE number.
So we're there. They won.
So we're there.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was talking about. Powell.
That's what I was trying to.
Soft landing, baby.
I was trying to make that case.
Where's the recession?
Frank the other day, and he wasn't buying.
No, but Frank is way smarter than me, so yeah, it's probably easier to make a case with me than with him.
But it's where is the finish line was what I was trying to get at.
Right.
It's 2.6. Okay.
Supposed to be here now.
It's a 2 handle, so we're there. No.
Where are we going? Well, that's what I'm saying. The only other thing to worry about to me is jobs. That's it. Because we're going to keep spending money. That's what the PCE is, right? So we keep spending money. It's coming back in. It's matching the inflation number. Let's see if it stays the course. And where do rates really need to go? What's the real rate that they're looking at? I don't know. If we can get down to 3.25, something like that. I don't know. Maybe a little bit lower than that, maybe a little higher. I mean, look, the market doesn't seem to, honestly, we're going to talk about all of this. As traders, we're looking for volatility. I think we're going to get it coming into the new year with the election. And then we have also a little bit of an uncertain move coming from the Fed. So we'll wait to see what's going to happen. And we are going to talk more about this. I still think we have a move coming down a little bit in January here, as no one wants to sell these big winners, pay the tax bill heading into the end of the year. Plus, we all know about Santa Claus rallies, happen 77% of the time, and it's the last 5 days. And we're expecting that to start. It started on Friday with a nice move up. NASDAQ ending the week up 1.2%, despite all of these numbers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, a few things to consider. It's the 11th, by the way. So CPI January 11th. That's the next date we kind of have to look to. And then the 25th, so you got to go all the way to the end of the month, is the next time we hear from Mr. Powell. Side note, Fabian was working on a great graphic today.
Let's see it then.
It's a Fed and it's a pivot for the Fed.
Okay, but
no, I don't want to show it. Let's show it on the show. Let's show it on the show.
I want to show this though right now.
Everybody
put
comes to the show on Monday.
Chicken here. I like that chicken. I like the chicken wing as well.
Are you a chicken guy or a turkey guy?
Oh, chicken by far. Yeah. But the thing about the turkey is like, man, every time there's turkey, there's definitely gravy. I love gravy. Yeah. Every time there's gravy, there tends to be stuffing with the turkey. 100%. I love the stuffing. And then my wife has definitely convinced me that it's all about canned cranberry sauce.
Canned?
We've had this discussion, man, lots of times, Brendan. What is Brendan doing right now? Oh, we talked about it. No, we talked about it on the episode 4.
No.
That's just a tease, and everyone has to go back and listen to whatever the last podcast I was on. Well, no.
I will bring you cranberry sauce.
I know.
That will blow your.
No. You have to. Okay. My point about the canned is, and everybody watching this will understand what I'm going to say here. There's no doubt the quality and the taste of the cranberry that you will bring me would be much better than ocean spray that was made with plastic and a machine and
Extra
God knows where
cornstarch.
with metal container.
Right.
Been there for 10 plus years probably in some warehouse.
Right.
But come on, man, it has the shape, it has the little lines
do you
on
like
it.
cut
You
it
can
with a
cut
knife?
it, you can put it in sandwiches.
Let us know what you guys think. Canned or real
Yes,
cranberries?
immediately, right now, at the bottom, put your comment in there.
Canned or real?
I already know, it's already, you actually think real stands a chance?
Yes.
Wow. Guys, if you're listening,
Canned
in
or
the
real?
comments right now, let's make Brendan look foolish. It's at least 70%, Brendan.
Yeah.
Wow, Brendan.
All right, let's talk about election.
Are you turkey or chicken then? How about that?
Oh, chicken, 100%.
Okay, good. Well, at least we can agree with that.
I did a
that's some fried
spatchcock
Yes.
chicken a couple of years ago on the barbecue.
A couple of years ago. I did one 2 weeks ago.
No, for Christmas.
Oh, for Christmas?
Yeah. When it was COVID and it was just the wife and I, so we did a spatchcock chicken on the barbecue. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Let's talk about election years
Love
because
spatchcocking those chickens, man.
yeah, it's all about
Damn, those chickens
chicken
are good.
surgery.
I mean, now you don't have like fried turkey sandwiches, right? You got fried chicken sandwiches.
Agreed.
If you like turkey in the comment, you comment on that as well. But I think most people choose
Turkey or chicken?
No, that's going to be also 70+%. That's going to be 90% in favor of
You
chicken.
ever had fried though?
Fried turkey?
Yeah.
No, but I don't know. That might change my mind.
yeah,
Fabian,
it's pretty
turkey
good.
or chicken? Okay,
He said
okay,
chicken.
so you said chicken. And what about you, Ramin?
Ramin has never had a turkey.
So then it has to be chicken then. It's
Breaking
okay.
news.
So 4 chickens. What do you want to talk about again?
Who's your favorite president?
Election.
I don't know.
President? Yeah. I don't know.
I saw this-
We're talking about the election?
I saw this today and I thought it was kind of interesting.
Joe Biden. I don't know.
This goes all the way back to 1928.
Oh yeah, let's see this.
This is market performance
Okay, so whatever the
during
highest one is.
election years.
Favorite.
During election years.
Reagan down 32%.
There are a ton of positive
Ronald.
numbers on
Yeah.
this board. That's
Yeah.
that's the point here, right? Like there's
Well, I think the point is that
there's
I don't think it
1,
matters.
2, 3.
You've got red and
4,
blue on there? This is
4
really nicely
negative. Well,
colored.
that's Democrat.
No, I know. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. It's really
Republican.
nicely done.
There's 4 negative years
Yeah.
during election years. So
Right. We had JC Peretz on, and I asked him that on the recap show, and he said, yeah, it's fugazi. It means nothing, really.
Yeah.
You just watch the market. And the thing is that a lot of this stuff is forward thinking, right? That's what the stock market's supposed to be. So again, you have a little uneasiness over the 6 months leading in. You get the debates, you get all this talk. But at the end of the day, is anything really going to happen? We're fearing China. I am anyways in this election. I'm fearing some of that rhetoric. A little worried about maybe some of the healthcare stocks, as that's always seems to be an issue on both sides of the aisle there.
Yeah.
What else, man? Financials. I mean, the banks are screaming higher, it seems like, every single day. XLF is pumping.
Yeah, almost back to highs.
Like all
Back
this
up
stuff,
to that.
KB.
Michael Noss was making the point today that 2 things. One is in an election year, the market is typically positive, but it is very choppy. There is a wide range, but it typically does end after November positive on the year going in November and December. 2 is the overall sentiment going into an election year also matters. So if it's a bull market, which we're in, obviously, and it's a crazy bull market at the
I think
end
that's what we're in.
of this year going
Check
into an
the
election
charts.
year, it helps the second year of that rally. So
I
all
honestly
things
think,
pointing to more
I think
positive.
everything only, it's funny because if inflation can stay where it is, which it seems like it's not going to be too dramatic,
Yeah.
knock on wood, over the next 6 to 8 months heading into the election,
I say it's over.
you say what?
Inflation.
Right, exactly. Okay, so perfect. So that's what I'm thinking. So then the only shoe to drop is what we talked about 10 minutes ago. I just think unemployment and employment. Like if people are losing their jobs, then former President Trump or whoever's going to be running against. I mean, is it even going to be Joe Biden? I thought there was talk, maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, the idea behind everything is that as we go on, if people start losing their jobs, then it's finger pointing time, and I think that could hurt the Democrats. But we'll just see what winds up happening.
Yeah. All right. You mentioned that firm Walmart angle going back to a few topics ago, but it's worth showing that chart. I think again, if you missed it this week, Affirm comes out and announces a partnership with Walmart, so you're going to be able to buy now, pay later, or never, on bananas when you check out at your local Walmart cash register.
Yeah, what is that? Gwen Stefani, she's part of No Doubt, and she goes BANANAS or whatever. It's bananas, yeah, that's BANANAS.
Shout out to No Doubt.
Yeah, shout out to No Doubt and Gwen Stefani.
What's that guy's name?
Isn't she still doing, she was married to some guy from Bush X.
Country singer.
No, for a while there.
But that
was a long time ago.
The guy from The Voice.
Isn't she on The Voice?
But they were together.
Dude, you're the one that listens to country music, bro.
Right.
I don't know what this guy's name is.
I listen to country music.
And no. Okay, yeah, so I don't think that's bananas. I think that's a good move for Affirm. They've really gotten heated, right? I mean, that stock is huge. 30% short flow, but you can just see here, I'll just look up the daily chart. I mean, Brendan, this stock was
unreal.
You know, at the beginning of, this is the 27th, we were at $27. So we're talking about probably 14 trading days or something ago. And now you're at 50, 40, 49. So, you know, straight up to the upside. Look, I like the name. I don't know. Do you believe, I just like, a lot of us have credit cards. I feel a lot of us don't. Yeah. You know, and with the current rates of where they are, people may be feeling more comfortable making that big purchase. We talked about why Apple's so strong. You know, everybody wants that new iPhone. If you can go into Best Buy or go into Walmart, which I assume Walmart, I mean, our Walmarts across the world, I assume, have these electronics. Ours do here. You can go get an iPhone at a Walmart. Yep. You can get a laptop. You can get a new TV, whatever you want. Best Buy as well. Amazon, they had that deal with Affirm. I don't know. If it works, it works. I just look at some point valuations are going to matter. They don't even make money. This is a $50 name. I worry about it. It's a huge short float. I think the shorts are getting squeezed right now on any kind of news like this. I just worry, again, about a potentially slowing economy, what that means for a company like Affirm. And I believe some of this froth in these names are because potentially they could be buyout targets.
Yeah, especially in Affirm.
They're not super, yeah, exactly.
What is the valuation on Affirm right now?
Oh, hold on a second, I have it. The valuation is, you know what? Oh, there it is. Nope.
14 billion.
Yep, okay. Why don't I have it on my trade ideas? Oh, market cap. Oh, I have 11.9 billion, but okay, we'll go with it. We'll go with that.
14 and a half. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not that bad. Yeah. But I just mean like even, I don't think like a bank comes in and buys them, but maybe somebody does. Yeah. Maybe private equity does.
I want to spend some time here on not only what's coming going into the new year, but we'll look back a little bit as well. Let's review 2023, if you will. I mean, the obvious answer here is going to be AI won the year. Mm-hmm. But if you had to point at maybe a few names or a few other areas outside of AI, it was an absolute monster year. We've really harped on the fact that it was 7 stocks in the NASDAQ that did the heavy lifting. If you take all that away, yes, the market's positive, but it's nowhere near as impressive as whatever it is, 54, 55% for the NASDAQ. So your thoughts on 2023?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was definitely a year where you had to be patient as an investor. And I feel that even myself, I just recently trimmed a few of the positions. And it seems like they might be even wrong. You know, Coinbase continues to go up to the upside. We had some big moves recently in Ubers, which I want to talk about. You said some names that potentially were actionable names this year outside of the big NASDAQ ones. And I think that's like, I always say this, especially to younger investors or even investors that are middle-aged like you and I, Brendan. Although you look like you're 25. The thing is that you just have to buy companies that you potentially use every day or companies that are solid, and then you don't have to worry about the ups and downs in the market as much. It lets you sleep a little bit better at night. And I just feel that like sleeping in 2022 was pretty tough sometimes. You know, sleeping in 2023 felt a lot better. And I think that's because you sort of knew that a lot of the names that traders were going to for safety were the NASDAQ names that we already own. You know, like we own Microsoft and Apple. And as the market starts to go up, those names lift the market higher. And it's easy for us to buy names like Google, right? Meta might be harder for some people because they don't believe in the social media aspect, you know, but we all knew it was NVIDIA a year ago, past November, that's when AI and all this chip talk and ChatGPT all started. That's only 1 year. That was just leading into 2023. So what I learned about 2023, I'm going to change it around a little bit. What I learned is exactly what you said before is, what are the tailwinds?
Yeah.
What are the stories leading into election year? You know, what does that mean for energy? Should we be buying it on these dips? I think yes. You know, play the trends. These chips aren't going anywhere. And I look at a name like Uber. Uber's such a big part right now. I feel like anyways, you're an Uber fan or a user.
Of course.
Right, and I think a lot of us now, they're into the grocery game, Uber Freight. I don't think that's going as well as they thought it would, but I think that's something. I think more travel is about to happen and is happening right now.
Yeah. Like
the LA Dodgers just spent $1.13 billion on those two Japanese players. You know, like the economy, and I know this baseball, we shouldn't be talking, but it's like people are going to games. You know what I mean? People are spending money. People are going out. The Raptors, Madison Square Garden, people are going out for dinner. People are traveling. You know, we had CCL yesterday yesterday was their report.
Yeah.
Up 5 or 6% and blasting off.
Demand through the roof.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just feel that right now, learning from 2023, let's just stay the course. And then once things start to slip up, use 50-period moving averages, use things like that, and be patient with what's happening. I do think there's a move coming to the downside. But again, Uber doubled this year. You didn't have to be a rocket scientist to buy some Uber.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist to buy some JP Morgan. You know, sure, I'm not in Affirm or, you know, to pick a Palantir at 7 and watch it go to 21. That's tough to do.
For sure.
You know?
I mean, even when it comes to Uber, we've talked about this in the past, but the self-driving, the autonomous angle with an Uber, with Tesla, obviously, is going to be the key for that business. But as you said, there's
I'm getting nervous about Tesla.
There's a lot of different angles when it comes to an Uber or Lyft, even for that matter. All right, let's go forward here because that's the exciting part as we head towards the end of 2023 and into 2024. We kind of teed it up a little bit with. It's an election year. We're coming off just a raging, strong market into 2024 with whatever it is, 55% for the NASDAQ.
This is like we're mean on a Saturday night, man. We're raging here.
So more positivity. All signals are pointing to the upside. Where do you put your money to work going into 2024?
Okay, so we were talking about this, and I actually want to do more work on this. And I talked to you, I don't know. I think ETFs.
Yeah.
So one idea that I have is this. How about this? What's up, girls? My ladies are over there. They're looking at me. We got a game to get to here. How about XLV? Okay, so this is the select sector healthcare. You know what's in this name? There's basically 4 big names. You want to guess 2 of them?
In the healthcare?
In this XLV. Healthcare.
UNH.
Yep. And the other big one that's been going up, GLP, Eli Lilly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was thinking.
It's basically it's UNH. I put Brendan on the spot there. That's a tough one. UNH, Eli Lilly, Merck, Bristol Myers. All of these companies in this ETF. And if you come over to the chart here, I feel like we're breaking the top here, Brendo. 136, 137. I feel like we can take that out. And I look down here at the 200 and the 50, down here to 130. That's maybe an issue of getting out if that can happen. But look, Eli Lilly's pulled back a little bit, 8 or 9%. We talked about heading into election year, UNH, some of the healthcare is always being talked about, but I think this year, maybe more positive. We're gonna find out. And plus, I like the wild card aspect. As we get older, and honestly, this is what it's all about. You gotta put your money somewhere, and this XLV here, I like the ETF. You get the upside of an Eli Lilly, but then you also get the upside of other companies, like I mentioned. Maybe Merck gets something figured out. Maybe Pfizer gets, and then all of a sudden that lifts the sector. So if you're looking for a little bit of diversification, that's what you do. But for me, I've decided, I've just trimmed a couple positions. We've talked about that. Trimmed out of some Snapchat, got out of some NVIDIA, got out of Hut 8, got out of some Coinbase. I'm upset because they're up like 10% today again. But I feel like get into a little bit of cash, wait till the first couple weeks in January. You could get a dip down, and I've decided never again to sell.
You heard it here first.
No, I'm being dead serious, actually. to not sell in my long-term portfolio
I completely agree with you.
ever
Completely
any of the
agree.
names
Yes.
that I own.
I sold 3 things this year
Right.
at all-time highs.
And they're higher now.
And now they're all
Right.
5, 6, 7%.
No, it's because it just goes to, and this is what I think should be true moving forward, buy the best names and just buy more of it when it goes down.
Exactly. On that, I have one that will follow this theme that you were just mentioning in the ETF side of things, and one that you are starting to hear more and more about her again. She was on CNBC today. She did a X Spaces with Elon Musk last night, and they were talking about the state of the world.
I know who you're going with.
Have you looked at a higher time frame of ARK's main fund lately?
You know,
this chart looks great.
I do not. I own the.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row positive. And speaking of breaking out, just took out $53. If we're going into an environment where rates are going to be coming down, this thing got absolutely destroyed because rates went up. That's really the only reason.
The chart looks nice.
There is a huge, I mean, it's a huge move already from 32 to 53, but there's a ton of room for this thing to still go.
What do they have in there? Coinbase? I mean, the thing is that the highest holding is Coinbase, right? Zoom, okay. And then second is?
No, actually, this is the wrong page.
Right. I feel like it's Coinbase at this point, but maybe not.
No, yes, it is. You're right. Coinbase, Tesla, UiPath, Roku, Zoom.
Right. Okay. So there you go. So Coinbase. I mean, Coinbase has gone top to bottom. We saw that 40. What? Hold on a second. I'm going to look at what Coinbase is doing right now. Coinbase's bottom, Brendan, again, $70.
It's insane.
You know, up to $175
in a month.
Add a hundy on top of that. I mean, ARK should be smoking.
Yeah.
So good for her.
Yeah, no, and
good for her.
And like you said, you know, go instead of trying to pick that.
Right.
You know,
just go with somebody's management.
Let her do it for you.
Boom.
Yeah.
I just have a problem with the management fees. Because if you're giving up 1 or 2 points, I don't know what it is on this. I have to look. I don't think it's that high.
Yeah.
But that's my worry when you get a financial advisor and stuff like that, which is why I think you and I are trying to lean towards ETFs.
I agree.
Because if you're going to give somebody a couple points to manage your fund or your portfolio, 10 years from now, that's going to be 20. Yeah. Like you're going to lose 1% a year, you know, because you got to give that back. So I worry about that, and I like ETFs.
0.75.
And I think 0.75. So not bad, but you know. I guess to not worry about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not picking Unity.
No.
And
or half of the other crap.
You tell us every time on the middle that like you're like, oh, there goes Kathy Wood buying $27 more million worth of Tesla. You know, it's like here I am getting nervous buying 5 shares.
She bought Meta yesterday too.
Boom.
Yeah.
That is one. That's the thing. Like I own Meta. Am I just going to sell it because it's back to all-time highs? It's like what you said.
She's buying at all-time highs.
Maybe we got to buy Square and stuff. Remember Square was like $30, and then that was all the way. All right. Oh, she's calling.
No, she's not.
Well, she just was on the screen there.
Let's wrap this up because we could go on.
Everyone's
forever.
looking at their watches now.
ETFs are going to be a thing, I think, going into next year. So
well, it depends what you believe, because passive investing is just that. You can dollar cost average. You can buy an ETF, not worry about managing the position.
Yeah.
Well, you know, but I do think that there is a point to look at moving averages, and if you guys are worried about it, I think a 50-period moving average, if you ever break that to the downside, potentially you lose some support, and that might be a spot to trim.
All right, we have a tradition. You know what it is. One good thing.
First, I want everyone to like and subscribe.
You just saw mine. Thanks for me.
I did not see anything, honestly.
Everyone else did.
Yeah, I didn't see anything, but I think everyone needs to hit the like, to subscribe.
I think they do too.
Make sure that you comment about the podcast and how much fun you're having.
Send it to all your friends. Do all the good stuff.
And what about people can put their one good thing into there too?
Yeah, do that. Subscribe.
I'm going to be looking at all of these things. Like I have nothing to do over the holidays except for work, Brendan. Like honestly, you know what my one bad thing is, Brendan?
What?
I can't take any time off because Brendan's got the whole week booked. Brendan, I'm
got to be first.
Oh well, guess who's booking next Christmas off right now, immediately, after the show?
My wife literally said to me today, "I'm sending you with a list of dates."
That's exactly what Marissa does.
On January 2nd.
Yeah.
To take off.
She did that already to me. Yeah. Right. Ramin can be our work wife. Did she just say? My wife is literally.
I don't know what she just said, but.
Oh, you need a wife. That could probably be arranged.
One good thing.
Okay, my one good thing is, and again, it all started with, you know, where we are right now, and I feel like festive. My one good thing is the festive season, Brendan.
All right.
And it's a lot wrapped into one. It's a very easy thing to say. But today I was at the mall. I took a nice picture of this great, huge reindeer all lit up. And it's really nice to walk around. And we just went through Yorkville. We drove through there. It's nice to see the lights. And this only happens one time.
Yeah.
So my one good thing is happy spirits for the festive season and all the nice things that you get to see.
Yeah.
Man, those Santa Clauses that are all over in the streets. Yeah, not everyone, but most people are happy, and the traders
Sean
over there
sitting in
having a
traffic today was
drink,
not
and
happy.
I hate traffic, but you know, I was at the mall, it was fun, people are happy. Not only that, you get to see friends, like you mentioned, you know, being at home during COVID, but now you get to go see.
Yeah.
So I don't know, my one good thing is just feeling happy, it's a festive season, because Brendan, like when we do this next week, or whenever we're doing this again, which is weekly,
Literally next
I won't
week.
be saying festive, it won't, you know, it'll be something else.
It'll be New Year's.
Oh, you already took my one good thing for next week already.
All right, sorry.
And yours is, let me guess,
I have a movie.
non-dairy brownies.
I have a movie.
Oh, okay.
Non-dairy brownies. Fun brownies. No. I watched this last weekend.
Yes.
It was actually really good. I liked it. Leave the World Behind. Julia Roberts.
Okay. Is that Netflix?
Yes, it is actually on Netflix. It's a little long.
How long
but
is it? If it's more than like 45 minutes, I'm done.
It's about 2.5 hours,
Oh.
2:20, but it could have been about 40 minutes
I fall asleep.
shorter. There's a lot of underlying stories happening.
You actually have to pay
You
attention?
have to pay attention. So deer are a very pivotal part in this movie.
Deer? Oh,
deer,
no.
like
Don't
the
tell me they
animal.
get run over.
Yeah,
or
no, they
anything.
don't. No, they don't.
Oh, dear.
Deer. No. But
All right,
yeah,
so we'll check that out. We'll check that over the holidays.
Something to watch.
We watched the back-to-back Home Alones, of course, 1 and 2. Spoiler for what? Oh, you spoiled it for the deers,
I
apparently.
didn't say anything. All I said is there's deer in the movie.
That's probably
not
okay to say
spoiling
that.
anything.
It's like saying in Home Alone, there's like some crazy kid that gets left home alone.
The
Oh yeah, that's right. It's called
literally
Home
the-
Alone. I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
let's get out of here.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for listening. I hope they enjoyed it. Put the comments, like, subscribe, Twitter, all that. jazz.
Wherever you find your podcasts on Saturday morning at 9:30, you will find this one.
Have a coffee, relax, enjoy it.
As Sean was saying, like, subscribe, and come check us out. on
Happy
the live
holidays.
show as well. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Enjoy your holiday
Yes,
season.
sir.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
That was fun.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Happy holidays.